Hi there. In this tutorial, we're going to be installing PhoneGap. One of the first things we do is we go to PhoneGap.com. Once there, just scroll down or find the link to Guides and Docs. This is the tutorial we're going to be following. So the first thing that we need to do is install PhoneGap. Now, in a previous video, I had already done that, but I'm going to do it again. I'll just scroll down here and it says, download the latest Mac OS X installer. So I'm going to download it. And I'll be right back. So I downloaded the installer on my desktop, and I'm just going to double click on it. And we get this. Just click agree, and it'll start to install. When the installation is done, we get something like this, and all we need to do is just click and drag it over. Now, I've already installed it before, but I'm just going to say replace. Now, once it's installed, you'll get this when you double click on it or when you launch it. Just say open. We then get this. So step 1 is done. The next step we need to do is actually install the mobile app. And in my case here, I'm going to be downloading the app from iTunes. Here we are at the App Store. Now, previous to this, I had already downloaded the app and installed it. So in my case here, you just have to tap open right there. And we'll see that the app actually loads. So this is what it looks like. Essentially what we do is once it's loaded and it's running, we click connect, and what it tries to do is it tries to connect over to the server. So now we're back to the desktop. After we've installed the PhoneGap developer app on our iOS device, we've downloaded it and it loaded, you can see what it's doing. We now need to create our new PhoneGap app. And to do that, first thing we need to do is make sure you have a folder that you can locate when you're doing this. I created a folder called PhoneGap iOS, and I'm going to add it, create new project, choose, and select. I'm just going to move this over, and there we go. The name will be Hello World. Oh, Hello World. And here I'll just type in com.kyo.coder.hello world. And then I click Create Project. Now it's already running. Now notice it says here, do you want the application PhoneGap helper.app to accept incoming network applications? You want to say yes, because this is what's going to allow us to connect from the iOS device where we installed the PhoneGap developer app to the desktop, which is essentially a server. So just a couple of things to take note of. The first thing is that this is actually a server. And you notice that it's running because there's this green bar right there. It's also green right there. You could stop it by clicking there. Now in my case here, the server is running on multiple IP addresses. The one that we want to concern ourselves with is the top one. Here it's 192.168.0.55 with a port 3000. What we want to do is we want to take this number, this IP address, open up our iOS device, run the PhoneGap developer app, and enter that. Click connect, and then what will happen is we'll actually see our Hello World app on our iOS device. It's actually pretty cool. So now after we've got the desktop app running, what I did was I launched PhoneGap app on my iOS device, and then I entered the IP address that we noted earlier. I'm going to click done here. I'll tap done, tap connect, and it'll start to connect. Now what happens is the desktop app, the PhoneGap desktop app, allows us to connect via our iOS device. So we see here, this is the iOS device running. So this brings us to this part of the video. So far we've installed the PhoneGap desktop app, and that runs on the desktop. That's what this is. We then installed the PhoneGap developer app, and that runs on the iOS device. And then we created a Hello World test app. We then ran it on the iOS device. So the next step is to modify the Hello World app or the Hello World files to see if it'll reflect on the PhoneGap app running on the iOS device. So to do that, you just have to go over to the files. In this case here, remember these files that we created? That was actually created by PhoneGap. We can then edit it. In this case here, I'm going to edit the index.html file. So I loaded the file, the index.html file in Sublime. And all we're going to do is we're just going to go over here where it says PhoneGap. And we're going to say hello world. And then we'll go here. Actually here, we'll go here. We have to change this one here. Hello again. And we'll save that. Now I'm just back at the desktop app here. I'm just going to stop it and I'm going to restart it. And here we are, we're back at the iPhone app, the iOS app. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap connect. And by the way, notice that the IP address is the same. I'm going to tap connect and it'll connect. And there we go. Hello world and hello again. Our changes that we made on the file is reflected on the iOS device.